figured we'd go through really quick with you guys on power steering pumps. So I'm rebuilding one for the Cutlass, not the one that's in the car. I had, the Mustang's out, by the way. Moved a bunch of stuff back here, reorganized, so I have a lot more space. The Mustang, out of here. Still in ownership, but it's gone. Anyways, power steering pump is still in the Cutlass, but it's the squeaky one. And I realized, hey, I've got like a brand new power steering pump that's been sitting on the shelf for 3 years. Well, in a bag on the floor, actually, that was under the Mustang. And it's like, oh, let's just rebuild this. Granted, it was new, but I remember there's a reason it didn't go on. I think there was an internal leak or something, so we've put new O-rings in here. I'm not going to pull out the vane pump assembly again. Just keep in mind that there are 2 pins that seat into the body of the housing and through the case of the vane. Goes all the way through. So it seats into the case. These 2 pins, they go through that plate and through this cage that holds the vanes in. And then they go into this top plate. And this top plate, on the original ones, they don't have these slots cut out. It's just 2 holes. There's holes for the pins, and then there's crossover holes. And it's pretty easy to tell which one is for the pins and which one's for the crossover, because there's a pretty significant size difference. And then I like to, I'm putting new O-rings in this too. So we've got new O-rings in it. I like to put a little ATF on my O-rings to lubricate them as I put them together. Just something like that. Now, a lot of the issue that I see people have is with this spring in the pump, because you have to put this spring on in that little groove, and you have to put this plate on, and this plate has to compress the spring. Come on. So the plate has to compress the spring, and then you have to put a snap ring in there. And when I say snap ring, I don't mean some chintzy little thing. It's sizable internal snap ring that sits in the pump. A lot of people have issues pushing this in. Thing I've done on these in the past is get your U-joint press, set it in there so that the lip, so it sits like that, and you should not need a ratchet up here. Everything should be easy enough to just go by hand. Make sure that's relatively centered, but if everything is lined up correctly and everything is clean and lubricated, it should just compress in there by hand. And then you're golden. So go and just drop your snap ring in there. And just, boop. Then you just work your snap ring right into the pump. And then that's the hardest part of the pump. Then you're just putting seals in here, putting in the case, which I have here. This is the original one off the car that I sandblasted and did a rattle can spray paint job on. I didn't do any prep. I just blasted and threw some VHT on here because it's gonna match the rest of the car. So they have new O-rings, new seals, tossed together. I've already got my new O-ring on here on the pressure valve. So pretty simple. Make sure all your springs go in the right way. Make sure nothing gets put on backwards, and it'll work. That's all. And I did not actually put a, I know this is a rebuilt pump, so all I did was replace the seal, the pump shaft seal. I did not replace the bearing. That is still sitting around somewhere. Here it is. I did not replace the bushing, I should say. Didn't have to. Yeah, that's it. Easy way to rebuild power steering pumps.